The crater stretched before them like a wound in the world's flesh. Kael stepped from the dimensional tunnel into air that tasted of copper and ozone, his enhanced perception immediately cataloging the alien geometries that dominated Yellowstone's transformed landscape. The original caldera had been replaced by something that defied Euclidean mathematics, concentric rings of crystallized reality that descended toward a central point where the dimensional barrier flickered like dying flame. Dimensional integrity, 3.7%. Barrier thickness, 0.002 quantum layers. Breach probability, inevitable. Director Hallam's transport rested at the crater's edge, its hull scarred by passage through destabilized space. Around the breach point, her forces had constructed a massive array, reality-shaping devices that hummed with stolen resonance, their crystalline cores pulsing with Fragment 4's amplified power. The device was already active. Through Fragment 7's enhanced awareness, Kael watched dimensional mathematics unravel in real time. Each pulse from Hallam's array sent hairline fractures racing through the barrier's quantum structure, weakening bonds that had held reality separate for 48 years. "She's widening it on purpose," Ghost whispered, her phasing abilities flickering as dimensional instability interfered with her powers. "Not trying to seal the breach, expanding it." Sable's hard-light construct sparked and reformed as she tested her abilities against the chaotic field. "Whatever that thing does, it's making the air itself unstable. My projectors are having trouble maintaining coherence." Movement. 3 o'clock. Mirror materialized beside them, Fragment 5's reflection powers having copied Ghost's partial phasing during their transit. Core defensive positions. They've got the high ground and enough firepower to level mountains. Through the Fragment network, Kael felt Hallam's artificial consciousness blazing with accumulated power, hundreds of drained abilities merged into something approaching cosmic capability. She stood at the array's control center, Fragment 4 floating above her palm like a crystallized star. And beyond the thinning barrier, the eraser pressed closer. Kael had seen it through dimensional glimpses, a presence that existed in the spaces between existence, void consciousness that consumed reality by simply being present. But here, at the primary breach point, its proximity made his enhanced perception scream warnings he couldn't ignore. Void manifestation, partial. Estimated full breach, 23 minutes. Host survival in direct contact, 0. The first tendrils were already seeping through, threads of absolute nothingness that dissolved quantum foam on contact. Where they touched the crystallized crater rings, perfect spheres of absence appeared. Not destruction. Erasure. As if those spaces had never existed at all. "We need to reach that device," Kael said, his voice carrying harmonics from triple fragment integration. "But Hallam's got defensive positions covering every approach vector." That's when the shooting started. Signal-enhanced projectiles screamed past his head as core soldiers opened fire from elevated positions around the crater's rim. Sable's hard-light shields blazed to life, deflecting rounds that carried enough energy to punch through tank armor. "Move," she shouted, constructing a hard-light bridge that spanned the crater's outer ring. "I can get us across, but not under sustained fire." Ghost phased partially, her damaged abilities letting her slip through some attacks while leaving her vulnerable to others. She cried out as a signal-charged round clipped her shoulder, the energy discharge disrupting her quantum state and slamming her back into solid form. Mirror grabbed her, Fragment 5's abilities allowing him to copy her phasing long enough to pull them both behind cover. "This isn't working. They've got overlapping fields of fire." Through the chaos, Kael watched Hallam's array pulse again. The dimensional barrier developed another crack, this one large enough for something the size of his fist to slip through. The eraser's attention focused on the widening gap with predatory patience. "She's going to succeed." Then Ghost looked up at him from behind their crystalline cover, her eyes reflecting the strange light of the destabilizing barrier. "I can get through their defenses. My phasing's damaged, but it's unpredictable, their targeting systems can't track glitched quantum states. She could reach the array. Slip past the defensive positions while Sable and Mirror provided covering fire. Ghost could destroy Hallam's reality-shaping device before the barrier collapsed completely. But Fragment 4 was integrated into the array's core systems. Destroying the device might destroy the fragment. Without all 7 fragments, the barrier couldn't be fully sealed, only temporarily patched while the eraser found other weak points to exploit. Ghost understood. He could see it in her expression, the terrible mathematics of choice reflected in her dark eyes. Save Earth now and doom it later. Or let the barrier fall and hope they could gather enough power to face the void directly. She looked across the battlefield at him, automatic weapons fire screaming between them, reality dissolving at their feet. Her hand moved toward the device's power core, awaiting his decision.